Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that if you are here locally, you are finding a way to take a good mood out of you with this 4 or 5, 100 days straight of rain that we've had here locally. I think maybe the end's sort of in sight, so it's nice. I actually feel like these lights, I'm just pretending they're sunshine. That's what I'm going to do today. So guys, thanks so much for joining me. Today we are doing a short circuits class. So what you will need today, and then we'll just talk real briefly about the class, is you're going to need, and this is optional, a pair of medium or heavy hand weights, and honestly you could have light too. I only put medium to heavy because we will be needing it for leg work. So usually we don't need light weights for leg work, but I will preview that the exercise we are doing is one of the most difficult ones that we do. So keep that in mind. And I'll go ahead and tell you so you can make your decision. We're doing split squats, left side and right side. That's what we'll be starting with today. So if you want to add weights to your split squats, you would just hold them down by your side. Usually they're challenging enough for me, especially with my janky knees, but I may give it a shot today. I think I have done it once with some weights, so I would go on the lighter end for myself personally. So if you want weights, you can do a medium or heavy weight, optional. Also a mini band, optional. And I'm trying to remember, okay, yeah, that's why. These workouts, guys, I write like a week in advance, so sometimes depending on how crazy the week has been, when I see them again, I'm like, what was that about? But yeah, so mini band, completely optional as well, okay? So medium heavy weights, mini band, both optional. Now the one thing that is normally optional that today is going to be required is a stability ball. And what do I mean by that? I mean one of these big exercise balls called Swiss balls, called stability balls, called resista balls, all sorts of names. Usually when I incorporate these, they are optional, but today it is going to be a required piece of equipment. So you want this guy. But if you don't have that guy and you're like, well shoot, I showed up ready to work, don't worry. Our first circuit will not incorporate that ball at all, only the second circuit. So you can still get a great 30-minute workout today that doesn't need that ball at all. So that kind of leads us in. Oh, and you want your yoga mat, your floor support, of course, as always. So that leads us into the explanation of short circuits. So short circuits is what I call, basically it's an hour of exercise total in run time, about 26 minutes is the circuits. But it is two totally separate circuits. So this is a great class if you only have 30 minutes or so. Or if you're a beginner and you're like, 30 minutes is my max amount of work. Or if you've got an injury or something where your stamina isn't quite holding up long enough for an hour workout, this is a perfect class for you because it's two totally separate circuits. So if you just want a 30-minute workout today, you can either show up at the beginning of the class and do our quads workout, or you can show up at about 6:30 or so and you can do the core workout. Or if you're watching this recorded after the fact, you can just turn it off after this first circuit, or you can fast forward to about 30 minutes or so in and you can start the second one. So it's really great. It's really two separate classes in one. Now I don't do the full reset in the middle, so you won't hear all of this again to kind of kick off the second circuit. So that's the only thing. But otherwise, it is two totally separate classes. So our two separate circuits today, one is going to be quads. So that's working that big, meaty muscle group along the front of our legs here. And then our second is going to be core. So working through the midsection and the side body is what we'll be working today, and we'll be using that stability ball exclusively for our core set today. Another thing that you might want to have close by but not really equipment is just a piece of wall. So you'll see me, I'll have to kind of clear out a little space here for myself, but that's it. And actually I might kind of rig up something for myself to substitute a wall, but you're just using something that you're going to be able to plant your feet against when we use the stability ball. So 1 minute rounds, 20 seconds of rest. So we'll work for 1 minute, off for 20 seconds. We've got a total of 4 exercises, and we'll go through that 4 times. So 1 minute on, 20 seconds off, 4 trips through. At the end of each 4 exercises, at the end of each cycle, we'll take a 1.5 minute break. So just a little bit extra break to recover before we start over again. And then once we get through that first 4, we'll pause, we'll take a little break, we'll reset, we'll get our equipment ready for the core circuit, and then we'll do the same thing. 1 minute on, 20 seconds off, 4 exercises, 4 cycles through. And as always, please add music if you need it. Music is a great option, especially in circuit. I just don't do it here because I don't want to deal with copyright issues, and I work too hard for these videos to get taken down because like Rump Shaker wants to sue me. So no thanks. I'm just gonna go with no music here. I've gotten used to it at this point. And of course, modify as needed. Some of the leg exercises that we're going to do are going to be challenging, so please modify as needed. I will spend a little bit of time on the split squat. I'm not going to set it up as ad nauseum as I normally do, but I will give you some variations for split squat because it's not accessible for everyone. If you have any questions about what we're doing, how you can do it better, how you can modify, leave me a comment while we're working out here today. I do try to check in as much as possible to see what's going on and if I can help you out. And of course, I always ask social media, please interact with us on social media. All the likes, all the shares, all the subscribes, all the things. It really does make a difference, and it really does help to get more people taking a look at our page and seeing what we're doing here. And lastly, if you are able, please consider giving donations. Venmo at Strong Style Fit is where you'll find me. You'll see that logo, you'll know it's me. It is the only payment I receive. This is completely donation based. I am a certified personal trainer, not just some person who watches videos on Instagram and then shares them with you. So please consider giving if you're liking these workouts and you're doing them often. I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider giving. All right, guys, so I'm going to grab a quick drink of water. I'm going to check on the video. I want you to go ahead and get your chair ready for split squats. If you've done split squats before, go ahead and get yourself set up. You know it takes a little bit of effort. If you are new to split squats, I highly recommend grab yourself a little hand weight. Now, you're not going to use it unless you want to, but you're not going to use it, this one that you grab. So if you plan to use weights, make sure it's not one that you plan to use as part of the exercise. We're just going to use it to mark our foot, because then once we kind of have a marker where our foot needs to go, we don't have to go through all that setup every time, okay? So I'm just going to set mine down for the moment, but no, that's my marker, and I'll be right back, guys. All right, friends, so I'm going to grab my chair. I'm going to scoot my beautiful flowers temporarily out of the way here. I hope you guys are enjoying my fun fall setup. I personally adore it very much. Just going to check and make sure the camera. Perfect. Just want to make sure that you can see the chair in the shot. So split squat. I'm going to try to set up really quickly for you guys so we can get started. So split squat is one foot back on the chair, one foot is doing the work. So for this purpose, I'm going to start with my right just so you can see. And I haven't done one in a while, so I'm probably going to be pretty rusty too. We want to have our back foot up on the chair, and then we want to be standing solidly on our planted leg. So from here, we want to be able to squat down, keeping our knee over our ankle and keeping this leg nice and close. So I like to sort of test run it a little bit. And I definitely recommend having something close by, like a wall or a chair, to catch your balance. So that seems pretty good. So I'm going to put that weight down at where my toe was. So now I know that's about where I want my foot to be. So every time I come back to this split squat, I know that's about where I want my front foot to be. And hopefully I can leave my chair in the same place. I probably am not going to be able to. So I'm going to also mark, for me, where my front chair leg is going. Just helps save a lot of setup in the future. All right, guys. So I'm going to get the timer on. Beautiful. All right, so let's get set up and let's get ready to work. So we're going to start in 3, 2, and 1. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Perfect. So we want our hips in alignment. We want our body straight, standing tall through our chest. And here, guys, to really focus on the quad, we want to keep that chest nice and tall. If we start bending over, we're going to shift the weight and the work back into our booty. So for these quads to really work, keep that chest nice and tall. Good, so just come as low as you feel comfortable. If this is completely out of range for you, you can do back lunges on the floor. And actually, I'm going to flip that and say you could do front lunges instead, and I'll show you that during the break. If you've tried this and you're like, nope, too much, perfect. So if that's too much for you, then I want you to do front lunges. So you'll stand, feet hip width apart, you'll step forward into your lunge, and then push back. Forward into your lunge, and push back. Single-sided. So that's what I want you to do if this is too much. All right, right side, my friends. Beautiful. So make sure when you get to that bottom that you dig, drive through the back of that foot to stand. You should be able to wiggle your toes. Weight shifts back just a little bit. And notice my knee back here is bending really close in on itself. A lot of times in these split squats, we get too far extended. And we're almost in like a runner's lunge back here. It should be nice and compact. Perfect. All right, guys. So from here, we're going to a seated leg lift. I'm going to pop off camera. I'll be right back. All right. So we're going to sit in our chair with our legs out in front of us, and we're on the edge of the chair. And from here, all we're going to do is squeeze this quad to elevate our leg. So we're not lifting through our hip, we're not kicking, we're squeezing this muscle. You might even be able to see, these pants are dark. As you see as I start to lift, that muscle kick in, that's what we're looking for. You could up your challenge if you want by putting a band around your ankles and lifting against the band. Just up to that challenge just a little bit. Just make sure you're doing that with control. That the band isn't you up here and then snapping your leg back down. Control. Control. Yes. Simple movement, very effective. So from here, we're going to do a bear squat. I'm going to see if I can fit into my space here without moving any of my targets. So we're going to go to hands and knees. Hands and knees in tabletop position. Really push that floor away. Shine that chest forward, so don't be all tucked in. Hover your knees, and then we sit back into the squat and push forward. Back into the squat, push forward. And forgive me, guys, I'm trying to find a space where I fit. There we go. So sit back, drive forward, keeping those heels and those knees hovering. We are just at the end of Round one. And I'm feeling it already. My quads are shaky. All right, guys. So we've got a 1.5-minute break here. 20 seconds now. So catch your breath. Walk around the room. Shake it out. Go through that 3 more times. I'm going to check the video. I'll be right back. Lovely. So, hopefully now with that split squat, you got yourself all established. You can just get right into it and go to work. Again, you can hold weights by your side if you want, or if that's enough, that's enough. Split squats are intense. And remember, you can do the front lunge instead if that's better for you than the split squat. Or if you're really beginning, front squats even too much, you can just do a stationary lunge. So you see my feet are staying in place, and I'm just dropping down into the lunge and standing. So that would be another modification if you need to tone it down a little bit. 20 seconds. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start kind of maneuvering into split squat position. And I know this is a complicated way to get set up. Takes a little trial and error, but I hope that also shows you how valuable I think the exercise is, that it's worth taking the time to have you guys do it. It's worth taking the time to really coach you into it. Because it is really, really a valuable exercise for building legs, for balance, stability. Again, if you need to trace a wall for balance, perfectly fine. If you need to hold on to the back of a chair, that's fine too. Just make sure you're not pulling yourself up and down with it. And again, that really narrow bend back here. So we're not hyperextended. We're not in like a runner's lunge position. Meaning I don't want you to be, even though I don't have room for it, I don't want you to be like way out here into that split squat that does some funky things to your knees. And honestly, it's how me and a lot of my people did it for a long time. And I did some research, and I am a fitness professional, so I say I can do some research and trust it. And you know, the more and more I found it was this more narrow version, and man, it makes a difference. You might think if you have knee problems, that extreme bend would be problematic. But for me, it's actually so much more comfortable than that really long extended way. Again, chest tall. Woo. Woo. All right, with the seated leg lifts. Man, my quads are like jello already. There really is something to be said about just digging into one muscle group at a time. All right, so if you've got the band, either way, band or no band, we're focusing on squeezing that quad to lift. If you have the band, just make sure you're controlling the up and the down. It's not a rocket kick, it's a lift. Keeping some bend in that knee so you don't hyperextend through that knee. 10 seconds. It's definitely one of those, if somebody's like flipping by on Facebook, they're gonna be like, what is she doing? What's the big deal? And then you do it, and you're like, oh, that's the big deal, let's see. All right, friends, we've got that bear squat. Awesome. All right, so get yourself set up. Tabletop position, nice long spine. You're going to hover knees, drive back, push forward. Keeping those knees up. If you need to take a break, push it back, set it down, come up, lift. Push it back, set the knees down, come forward. It's a way to kind of modify but still get similar work. Be careful standing up. You might not have a very firm foundation when you stand up. Oh. All right, guys, so that's our break. Got a minute and 15 or so seconds. Catch your breath. So these short circuits are super cool because, one, take something like quads. You couldn't do a full quad circuit, meaning our normal hour-long 8 exercises, 4 trips around the sun. You just couldn't physically. It wouldn't be advised. But 4 is just enough to a lot. It's enough to a lot, and 4 exercises, we get it done quickly, and we can stay in the quads, right? We can really focus. So the point I was making about we couldn't do an 8 exercise circuit of just quads. So we'd have to put other things in, meaning we'd be giving our quads a break. But here, we get 4 solid trips through of just quads, not throwing anything else in. So that's why these short circuits are really cool. All right, I've got just a couple seconds. I'm going to take the video. I'll be right back. All right. So yeah, I think my point was a little muddled there, but the point I was trying to make was we can do an 8 exercise circuit of quads, an hour of just quads. I don't mean legs. Legs we could do, legs we have done. I mean just quads. We couldn't do 8 exercises of just quads for an hour. So we'd have to throw other things in to get to that quad circuit, meaning we were giving our quads a break as we did other exercises. With these short circuits, we can do 4. We can do 4 cycles of 4. And we can focus just on the quads. We don't have to throw other things in. So we're not giving these quads a break. We're giving them almost 30 minutes of solid, straight work. So that's the point. Slightly less muddled I was trying to make. Woo! Right, other side. Remember, you have the front lunge as your next step down from here, modification, and then if you need to modify further, stationary lunge would be perfect. Same type of work, just lessening the intensity. Remember too, we're keeping that chest up, nice and tall. If we start to bend over, we shift the work back into our glutes. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, that's not what we're working today. Today we're focusing on the front of the leg. The fatigue is real. Under 10 seconds, guys. Woo! Oh, could barely make it up on that last one. All right, so back to our leg lifts. Just remember, we're sitting on the edge of the chair with our legs off the chair so they have plenty of room to move. Band is optional. A little bit of bend in those knees. We sit tall. Anchor through our heel. Lift. And again, lift by that squeeze in the quad. If you're feeling it a bunch in your hip flexors, one, if you have a band on, take the band off. You're making it too challenging for your quads to handle. If you don't have the band on, I want you to focus on just that quad squeeze and maybe not even lifting your heels at all. If any kind of leg lift results in pain through here, then I want you to just keep your legs stationary and squeeze, 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 squeeze. Perfect. All right. We've got those bear squats. Also, of course, sneaking in some arm work in those bear squats because they are having to hold us in that tabletop position the whole time too. All right. Get yourself set. That being said, make sure your upper body is really positioned well. Wide fingers. Heart shines forward, neutral back, tuck toes, lift, push, push forward, push, push forward. Remember, if you need to drop your knees, drop them, push forward, lift, push back, drop them, push forward. Be careful getting up. Jelly legs. All right, guys. We get one more break. We're at 1:20. Sweat running down my nose. One more break here. One more trip through this circuit. And then we'll take us a nice little break. Then we'll do our core set. Man, oh man. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Ooh. I keep doing it. Woo. I've been doing a lot of super focused work. You guys know we've been doing an upper body challenge. So yesterday was this really intense biceps, triceps, and chest workout. And then today, hammering in those quads. So really experiencing the effects of very focused work versus general fitness. Both are beautiful. Both have a perfect place in the fitness world. I just normally do focus more on general fitness teaching these classes than I do really honing in on certain specific areas. So it's been an adventure. I like it. All right, guys, get yourself set. We are just about ready for our last round. All right, guys, so this is your last trip through. Make it strong. Always good to check in, even if you have these targets set up for your feet. It's good to just check in, make sure everything's still right, that your knee's still tracking over your ankle, not out over your toes. Check in on this bend back here, make sure it's nice and tight. Chest tall, tall, tall. Almost there, friends. I know, I'm feeling it too. Woo! Goodness. All right. Right side. Woo. Our right leg is like jiggly jello for reals. All right. Let's get set. To make sure that hip is staying in alignment, that you're not jetting it out to the side, that you're coming straight back. Which is a big, big challenge for me. I'm getting better. I feel like I don't need to keep my hand on my hip all the time to make sure it's in. Almost there. Oh, man. All right. Leg lifts. Not gonna lie. I'm glad that's over. And tall seat on the edge. Lift. And if you're not sure, if you don't have really well developed quads, still building, still developing them, so maybe you don't see this big reaction in your quad when you squeeze them. That's okay. Just put a hand on it and then flex into it. Even if you don't see, you should be able to feel that top of your leg engage and kind of pop up into your hand. And even if it doesn't pop up, you should still feel some kind of little reaction into that hand. And that's how you know you're working the right muscle. All right. Whew. Oh goodness, I almost just kept going forward, guys. That was hilarious. All right, bear squats. I cleared out my chair, so I've got a little more room to play with here. So, wide fingers. Flat back, chest forward, tuck the toes, lift, push back. Come through. Back. Forward. Again, modification is hover back, set them down, push forward, lift. Hover back, set them down, push forward, lift. Did it. Catch your breath. Take it slow. I know my sweat is real. All right. So we're going to cool off a little bit. We don't want to get cold. We just do a whole lot of work to get our bodies warm. So even though we're not necessarily working legs again, we don't want to let ourselves cool off. So keep yourself in a little simmer. It might mean just a little step touch. Might mean some high knee march, if you can lift your legs to do that. But just take yourself a little break. I'm going to clean up my space. That's a great way to cool off, is just get rid of any equipment that you don't need. So again, let's see. I bet I can use a weight plate to stack my feet on. I'll give it a shot. Boom. All right, so you're gonna need your stability ball for our core circuit. And you're gonna need something to balance your feet on. I'm gonna walk you through all 4 exercises before we get going with them, because I know getting off the ball can be weird. We're only really getting off and on at one time. So, but I know that can be awkward. Dealing with those can be tricky. So we're gonna go through everything once, just to get the hang of it before we start our circuit. So you need your stability ball, and then something, usually the base of the floor is your perfect option. I just don't have that, so I'm gonna use a weight plate, which is something that you can push your feet against to keep yourself from rolling around on the ball. All right, keep breaking. We're not cutting it just yet. I'm gonna check on the video, and then we'll get to it. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is ball rollouts. So ball rollouts, we've done several times before. You're going to start high up on your knees, hands on the ball. And then we're going to roll the ball out as we lay our body out. So nice and slow and under control, we roll out. And we want to land like in an elbow plank on the ball. So we've got our elbows under our shoulders, our chest shining forward, our belly is off the ball, and then once we get extended, we pull through that core and roll ourselves back up. So the 2 common mistakes is, 1, we roll too far and our elbows are way out past our shoulders, and while that will work your core, it's doing a lot of trouble to your shoulders. So we don't want to be there. The other common mistake is we don't roll far enough and we end up on our belly on the ball. And we don't want that either. So we want to land in like a low plank, an elbow plank on the ball. And then pull ourselves back up. That's number 1. Number 2 is hand to foot ball pass. Or you'll have some options in between. So we're going to start on our back with the feet squeezing each side of the ball. Lower belly tucked in. We drop the ball as low as we can while we drop our arms back. Then we bring them to the middle, grab the ball, drop our feet, drop the ball back. Come back, catch with our feet. See how it goes. Or you can just hold the ball between your feet and go as low as you can, as high as you can. Or you can alternate and do some knees and hands. Extend your hands, pull your knees in. So that's a great option as well. So that's number 2. And then number 3 and number 4 are the same, just different sides. So we're going to do a side crunch on the ball. It takes some maneuvering. So this is where you need something to anchor your feet on. I'm going to try using this plate. Then we're on our hip on the ball, and we're going to come down and crunch up. Come to our side and crunch up. You can also kind of tuck a knee and do a foot. I think that will be fine. You need a little extra support. So that's what we're looking for there. It will take some trial and error. You're going to see me messing around with it too, trying to get it right. It's all right. So we're just working on those side crunches, okay? All right, so ball rollouts are first. I'm going to hit start on the timer in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Pull through that core. So land in that elbow plank. Pull through that belly and come back up. Shoulders down, neck long. Move at whatever pace works for you guys. I used to do these a lot. So while they're still effective, I can roll through them pretty fast. If these are new to you, take your time. All right, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna pop up for just 1 second. I think I'm gonna have to put some extra padding under my knees. All right, we've got that ball pass. Now, don't be fooled, guys. A minute is a long time to do this. So if you've got to take that modification at any point, go for it. You'll probably see me do it too. So lower belly, down and in. Feet engaged on that ball. Reach back. Reach up and grab it. Pass it back. Bring it up. Grab it. My back is staying flat on the floor. I'm not adding a crunch. Keeping the back flat. This should likely be plenty of work without the crunch. Woo! All right, side crunch. So go ahead and start working on your setup for your side crunch. Like I said, it's going to take some trial and error. So we come over the ball and then we squeeze to the top. So I've got one hand kind of on the ball for some stability. Other hand hovering by the head to get that kind of elbow to side crunch in. You could also put a hand on the floor. Just don't use the floor to push yourself. Just use it for stability. So just some light fingertips on the floor. Squeezing through the side body here. Draping over the ball to get that nice extension, and then squeeze where you feel that extension to lift. All right, and just so I don't have to move my plate, I'm just going to spin around. I tend to try not to make you guys watch me do stuff from the back side, but it'll be all right this round. All right, so go ahead. Again, it takes a little setup, so just get yourself situated. You may find one side you feel way more comfortable than the other. Like on this side, I'm already like, okay, got it. Other side, I was struggling like crazy. So again, drape over the ball, get that extension through here, and then that's where you squeeze to lift. Let your head follow your body. Don't pull up through your neck. And I get to see all my pretty pumpkins and moms this way. Extra bonus for me. Perfect, guys. We got a 1.5-minute break here. So, do whatever you need to stretch it out. I'll be honest, guys, these balls are amazing for this purpose alone. Just to drape over it and let everything kind of dangle. You won't believe how good that feels. It's silly that it feels that good. All right, I'm gonna hop up and check on the video and meet you guys back here. You've got a minute on the clock right now. So we're going to pretty good chunk of break left. We've got 40 seconds. So definitely take this time. If that ball is just confounding to you, especially for those side crunches, take the time, practice. I promise it gets better. But it never gets pretty, right? Like even though sometimes I feel like I got on that ball pretty smoothly, I'll go back and watch the video and I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, you are a mess. All right, so I'm adding just a little padding under my knees for these ball rollouts. That much rocking back and forth on my bony, cranky knees was not good. So again, we want to be tall. Sometimes people sort of start in this position and it's really hard for them to kind of get extended. So start tall, walk the ball out, land in that low plank, shoulders down, neck long, and then pull it back in. You're definitely also getting some upper body work in this. So if you're feeling some work in your arms, your shoulders, your lats, that is normal. Just make sure you're really focusing on that belly, pulling that belly up and in as you come to stand. Because I've been doing so much upper body work, my upper body's like, hey, let me do it. So I'm really having to kind of pause, grab my belly, and pull. Because yeah, my arms were like, hey, we've been working, let us do it. All right, we're gonna come down to our back. And I'm gonna start with some of the modifications because I don't think I really did well showing you, aside from the opening practice round modifications. So I'm gonna show you a couple of those here. So your first modification, starter, is to take the ball, bring it back. You can extend one leg and bring your knee to leg to knee. Leg to knee. Ball to knee. So that would be one modification. Or you can put the ball here and kind of hover down and up just to whatever your challenge level is. So that's the next step up. And then we can start passing back and forth. Guys, it's all about that low belly here. Really think about it, up and in. Beautiful. That's a really intense one too, guys. So, don't be afraid, don't be ashamed if you need to modify. There's no shame, absolutely none whatsoever. Nobody starts at their peak performance. I guarantee you. I can pretty much say with certainty, if beginning out, you would have asked me to pass that ball to my hands, I would have laughed in your face. Okay, wherever you're placing that hand for support, just make sure that it's only assisting you and supporting you, that you're not really pushing and driving through that hand. All right, other side. enjoy a nice side stretch before it starts if you'd like. But also too, guys, make sure that your shoulders are really stacked on one another. So you're not rolled forward and trying to crunch. You really want kind of your shoulders, your hips, everything to be in alignment. If you want to check it, just extend your hand out of your shoulder and see if it's tracing down your leg versus coming out this direction. That means your chest is rolled forward. Almost there. Wonderful. All right, guys. We've got our break. We've got a minute and a half. Reset yourself. It's kind of fun, too. That's something else that these circuits allow is for us to do a whole isolated core set. You know, we definitely throw in like a core Tabata and stuff like that, but really getting to focus in on the core. It is good work, and I know that so many people hate working core because they feel like they don't see it, right? Because they don't see this six-pack forming. One, six-pack is more about diet than it is about exercise, but also two, you know, there's things in core you don't think about, like whittling that nice shape in your back or from the waist to the hips, supporting your spine, guys. So important. And can reduce waistline too, even though diet, again, is a big part of waistline. And I think that's why people get frustrated with core, because they think they can crunch their way to flat, beautiful abs. And unfortunately, life just doesn't work that way. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's much more about what goes in here than the work we put in here. All right, guys, we got 5 seconds. I'm gonna like stick my head around the camera. Perfect. All right, we've got ball rollouts. And I know, trust me, it's so disappointing. I've lost like 130 pounds, I think, and still so much excess weight around my belly. And it's so frustrating. But I just have to focus. You do the same on all the other places that you're seeing change. And really, even as frustrated as I get with all the middle that's still there, you know, I think about probably lost 20 inches there though, you know? So it's like, while it is not what I want it to be, boy, it's different. So. Perfect, guys. All right, we've got those passes. If only we could out-exercise all of our, all of the things we don't like, right? And trust me, I've tried. I have given it my all. And guys, another modification too is you could do bent knees. Kind of thought about that, but you could totally do bent knees. That's a great, great, great modification. All right, guys. Side crunches. All right. Extend. Crunch. So this is a great example of feeling that extension of the muscle and then the contraction of the muscle. So the more extension we get, the better contraction we can get. Oh, I hear a Rizzo. There's a Rizzo. Hi. Oh my goodness. You're so excited. Hi. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hi, big girl. Are you here to cheer on your friends? Oh, we gotta switch sides. We gotta switch sides. You entertain our friends while my back's turned, okay? Is it a deal? Right, other side, guys. Rizzo, I see your wiggly shadow. Crunch. Extension, extension, crunch it in. Again, just hand for support. No mega push through the hand. Keeping that chest nice and open. Great kind of waist whittler. We're working right where that waist cuts in for most of us. Woo! Perfect. All right, friends, we got one more trip through and then we will be done. One more trip through. One more trip. Yeah. Oh, there's my sweet girl. All right, guys, so got your last trip through. What can you do this time to make this your strongest round? You got a minute to think about it. What can you do? Have you been modifying? Maybe you could try to take it out of the modification, even if it's just for 1 or 2 reps. This is your last trip through, your last chance at it, so you can take a risk. Obviously, you know me well enough to know, I mean, healthy risks, not dangerous risks. But if you've been modifying the whole time, like those hand passes, give it a shot. See if you maybe can do the full version. Again, even if it's just once. Once is better than the last time you tried, right? All right, guys, I'm going to check the video real fast. Yeah, beautiful. All right. Okie doke. So I'm going to get my mat set up for my knees. All right, guys. So again, if you're getting tired on these, just really focus on that form. Standing upright on those knees and then landing in that elbow plank, long, long spine, chest extended, and pull through that belly to stand. Feel strong about it, guys. Try not to lead with your butt. So what I mean by that is that we get out here and then we kind of let our butt sit back. So try not to lead with your butt. It's something you probably wouldn't think to do, but your body thinks to do. Because your body's like, why aren't we just sitting back? That's so much easier. Awesome. All right, we've got those passes. All right, guys. So remember, all sorts of modifications. We got knees. We've got knee passes. We've got extended legs and just kind of hovering in the middle. So we got all sorts of choices here. If you haven't tried the full version, just because you don't think you can, give it a shot. Really focus on that lower belly. Pull it down and in. Woo! All right, we got 2 rounds left. Side crunches, and we are done. We're almost done, Rizzo. All right, guys. Over. Ooh. There we go. Over. Crunch. Crunch. Good girl. That's a good helper, Rizzo. Good job, friends. Really squeeze that side body at the top. Give it a little extra pinch. The shoulders nice and relaxed. Other side, and we'll be done. Other side, and we'll be done. All right, my friends. Last minute of work. We got this. Almost there, friends. We're under 10 seconds. Get the most out of it. Go all the way to the bell. Ding, ding, ding. All right, my friends. We have did it. So if you were with me for that whole hour plus, our 2 short circuits, congrats on knocking out a killer, super hyper-focused quad and core workout. Equal congratulations though if you are someone who is taking this as a 2-part class, 1 quad, 1 core. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was appropriate for your fitness level. I hope that you felt strong and that you really nailed it. There's no shame, no disgrace, no whatever awful word you want to attach to doing half of the workout versus the whole workout. We meet you where you are. Nobody really goes out of the gate being able to do an hour workout from nowhere, you know? I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions to the rule, but I would so much rather you feel strong in a 30-minute workout than feel beat down and defeated at the end of an hour. So take that, process that, and understand that whatever you did, as long as you felt strong and good about it, you totally nailed it. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. As always, please like, share, subscribe, do all of those things to help people notice us, pay attention to us, and hopefully join us here on social media for these live workouts or after the fact on YouTube. And last, I just ask, please, if you would consider giving, if you are someone doing these workouts and enjoying them every week, Venmo at Strong Style Fit is where you can donate. And as a reminder, it is the only payment I receive for these classes, so it is greatly appreciated you can give. So guys, you take care, have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in just a few days. Mwah!